Hey everybody, welcome to the first game reaction in the Canadian Islander fan reaction channel here. My name's Terry. I'm be your host for this reaction. So today was game three of the exhibition season for the New York Islanders, and the Islanders fell to the New Jersey Devils 2-1 in overtime. So just going to give you a few of my thoughts on this game. Normally, as a Canadian, I don't really get to see very many preseason games up here in Canada for the Islanders, but it seems like more and more people are streaming a lot of the preseason games now. I've been lucky enough to watch all three of them, and I almost missed today's. My normal stream, it wasn't working today, and then all of a sudden I took a look on Facebook and the Islanders had posted it on the Facebook page. So I said, oh sweet, so I guess I get to see this game too. So yeah, it was awesome. So well, let's get in. Basically what I'm going to do for this one, I'm not going to go back and do games 1 and 2 because it's only preseason, but I might amalgamate some of the information I had from game 1 and 2 into this game 3 recap, where the New Jersey Devils took us down 2-1 in overtime. So let's take a look at it. Together with Barzell was what we were all wondering, even though we know both Palms and Wallstrom are going to get a shot on that line with Barzell. So it was interesting to see that Palmieri got the start with Barzell and Bellows. I kind of thought we might see Lee today for a little bit of action, but I guess we're going to hold him off for the next game. Always good to take a little extra caution with it, but I'm sure Anders is chomping at the bit to get in. But man, Palmieri, Barzell, and Bellows looked fantastic all game long when they were together, even though later in the game, around the second period, Wallstrom was mostly put up with Bellows and Barzell, and they didn't lose a beat. Whenever Barzell was on the ice, that puck was hemmed in the New Jersey end, and they were completely dominant in that. So anyway, we jumped out to a real quick lead with Bellows with quite the snipe. It was a great tip out from our own end by Palmieri to get Barzell in stride, and Bars, of course, making one of his patented passes. But Bellows, put it upstairs in the toy department, as Butch would say. And I got to tell you guys, as a Canadian, you've heard Butch talk about that toy department. I have been to that actual toy department that Butch is talking about when I was a kid. And I used to go rushing upstairs to the fourth floor every time we went into Eaton Center there, and straight to the toy department I would go. I was only like 7 to 10 years old at that time, but I do know the toy department where Butch is talking about. So that's where Bellows put that one to start us off in the game. I also somebody who stuck out to me this game that didn't stick out in the first time I saw him, yet I'd noticed some other people said he did stick out. So that'll happen sometimes. But I really noticed Timashov really stuck out to me in the first, right from the very start of the game, and I was really impressed with Timashov tonight. And now I don't know. It's hard to figure out where all these guys are going to fit. It's just crazy. Like Timashov, he can skate, he's fast, he's a great passer, and he likes to shoot. On the Islanders, we like people who like to shoot because we haven't had many of them around. So that shoot first mentality, which is something I noticed in the entire game today, was the Islanders were much more shooting than they normally would. I really liked it. It worked out great. And the funny thing about it is we only produced a goal out of it, but I like the shoot first mentality. I thought it was working great for us. So yeah, I thought he was looking really good. Bellows, he had just a great game today. He was all over the place. Like, he must have had 6-7 shots in the game today, and most of them were all of quality variety. I was really happy to see that from Bellows. And it's funny, usually from the fan side of things, we say things like, geez, Bellows is on the ropes. If he doesn't do it now, he's never going to make it. And that, and I'm listening to the media interview Barry and that, and Barry they always say, oh, well, what about Bellows? Is he going to have a chance? They're like, boy, this game must have really helped Bellows today because he played so well. And Barry kind of goes, he's been playing great in the training camp. So it seems to me that it's mostly more the fans that that are worried about Bellows. So I actually think Barry likes him, and I really do think Bellows has changed things around and really concentrated on the defensive side of the puck. And we all know what his strength is, and that's his shot for sure. And if he can produce, then there's a spot in the lineup for you for sure. So we definitely had an excellent first period. We outshot New Jersey 16-5 in the first. So it really was pretty dominant. And the Barzell line was always putting on a show almost every single time. Now I wrote down in my notes here, Koivu, question mark, question mark, question mark. I don't know what to think about this guy. I really don't. He I keep waiting for this guy to impress me, and he never seems to do it. Yeah, he's solid. He plays his defensive game, but there's just never that one thing that just sticks out to me. Like I just don't know how much longer this guy's going to be in our organization. I know he's going to be there a while longer because we need the depth, and if we get an injury at center, I guess he's got a shot, but I just don't see anything special in Koivu at all. I'm hoping I'm wrong because he's such a big body, but overall, he really doesn't impress me that much. Somebody who does impress me though is Robin Salo, who had another good first period, and he is looking super out there. I mean, the guy just doesn't panic. That's something you can't teach a player either. The poise thing under pressure, he's got it in spades. I'm telling you, this guy, nothing phases him. And sometimes that can backfire on you because they're so confident in their abilities that every once in a while they can, they'll lose it, and because they think they can do it every time and whatnot. So I'm sure Barry will get that straightened out, but I don't know if there is anything to straighten out right now. I have honestly been looking for something to find about Salo to say bad, and so I immediately focused in on his defensive work. So I thought, oh, I'll be able to get him here, right? And nope, 3 games now. I've watched this guy 3 games. There's nothing I can find wrong. The only thing that I can do is give positives. I think he's fantastic on the power play. He looks like a great power play quarterback. And it looks like we're starting to get some options now of who we could put up there on the power play. So I thought overall the power play looked pretty good today, even though there was no results. So anyway, that's how the first period ends, and we're up 1-0 and everything looking good, out shooting them 16-5. So nothing to get too excited about though. Obviously, well, not obviously, I shouldn't say that, but the Islanders had far more veterans in the lineup today. So they really should have looked much better than New Jersey. And Jack Hughes, who did play today, he left early in the second period. He only played about 9 minutes in the game. So the Islanders should have looked good, and they did. And they just weren't putting the puck in the net. And I'm not worried about saying that because like everybody's, oh no, we still can't score, because I think this team will score a lot this year. I think you'll see our numbers go way up from what they were last year on the offensive side. And I really do. Look for, we're going to have 4 solid lines to send out at any given time that can score a goal. So it is going to happen. Last year we had the leaks on the third line, and and then once you get an injury to Lee and everything happened. Not to say that we couldn't get injuries again this year. We certainly could, but at the start of the season, we're going to have 4 very solid lines. Parise, to me, plugged the last hole for sure. All right, so let's go to period number 2, when the Islanders got a penalty to kill off. It's the first one of the game for them that they have to do, and they do just that. And then Gustafson gets another, or was it? No, Gustafson then gets another penalty, and we got another penalty kill off. So early in the second period, we're into penalty kill mode, and we killed them both off. So that's penalties number 7 and 8 of the preseason for us. We haven't given up a goal yet. So penalty killing's looking good, but I got to tell you, there's really been no great unit in any one of the 3 games going up against us. So I would just keep that at a kind of an even keel thing for sure. Now the Islanders, they totally dominate once Wallstrom gets put on on the line, and it's just like it's crazy. It almost looked like globetrotters out there passing the puck around, and Barzell zipping around doing his thing and everything. And it helps us get our first power play. So we go to the power play once again. Not a whole lot to expect from our power play. Our power play seemed so bad last year, and definitely was our Achilles heel. But uh, I saw some positive signs in the power play for people that I thought who would be on the power play in the regular season, and it was nice to see Pollock being able to get some one-timers off. Uh, he wasn't the only one who got one-timers off. There was a lot of people I really liked on the Islanders today with the shoot first mentality, and I really liked the way Robin Salo worked the power play. I guess Gustafson was okay. I'm not I'm not 100% sold on Gustin. I saw a couple of defensive errors there today. Nothing major, nothing bad. He looks a little bit slower, but he is poised. He's a nice passer. Gets the breakouts good. But when you got a guy like Robin Salo, like, he can carry the puck out of his end, and then you throw in a guy like Dobson and Pellick and Pullock, and any one of those guys can do it. So I really don't think we're going to be hurting that bad in the defense department at all. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to be really strong. So yeah, that's looking good. Obviously, we don't score on the power play, but for me, the power play will be with Letty gone is addition by subtraction. The one thing that I did notice is that there was numerous different people out there on the power play that moved the puck so much faster than Nick Leddy while he had his brain farts. And I hate to say this, and the same goes for Bailey. Without Bailey and Leddy on the ice, at least we were tossing it around and looking good in that. I know, I know. I guess you'll find out my thoughts on Bailey and everything. I finally conformed a little bit towards him, but yeah, that man's caused me a lot of misery over the years. But hey, who's going to argue with his playoff stats? Not me. So anyway, even though they're tossing around the puck and everything's really good and whatnot, still no results. And then we go to PK number 3 for the day. And during that PK, Zach Parise actually gets himself a breakaway and gets stoned on the breakaway. So we kill that one as well. And that puts us 9 for 9 and in PKs for the preseason so far. But like I said, once again, don't get too excited about it. Just preseason. All right. Now the Islanders, they went on their second power play. We got a crossbar out of Palms, and that was about it. There was no real flow to this game at all in the second period. So many penalties and everything. And I noticed it kind of brought the play down to a bit of a halt and whatnot. And like, I remember there was one part there for a while. It's been so long since I seen Barzell on the ice because he doesn't kill penalties, right? So, but then in the second period, Islanders are up 24-11 in shots. We're completely dominating the game as we should be. And Sorokin is done for the game as he leads with a 1-0 lead. And Sorokin is still yet to give up a goal in the preseason this year. So what has he played? He almost played 2 periods in the first game, and then he played 2 today. So a little over 4.5 periods or so. So that's pretty good. So we go into the third. Normally we are locked down with a 1-0 lead going into the third. You'd feel pretty good about yourself and whatnot, but maybe not so much when you put Corey Schneider in that. I love the fact that the guy's I guess he's good in the locker room and that, and Lou and Barry have proven to all of us that culture matters. I'll talk about Leo Komarov a little later throughout the year, but I'm actually on the Leo Komarov support side. So Leo's done great things for this team. So I get the culture thing from Schneider and whatnot, but if it ever comes down to the fact that we actually have to play him in a regular season game because somebody gets hurt or something, yeah, we're in trouble. As a matter of fact, I'll go back to another game right now. I can't remember if it was game 1 or 2, but Skarich, He looked fantastic in his appearance. I think that was game one against the Rangers. And yeah, so I think he was part of that shutout, or he was game two. I can't remember. But anyway, in his appearance, he looked absolutely solid. And I was actually really surprised how big he was. I had no idea that he was that big, and he was very solid in that game. So I would rather go with him. Like if it comes crunch time in the regular season, get in there. But yeah, great guy, Corey Schneider and whatnot. Well, good on you. And yeah, let's just hope he doesn't have to play in regular season. So anyway, he's in net. The Islanders go to the power play again. This time they have a really bad power play. They don't ever really get anything set up. But throughout the whole game, it seemed like the second unit was doing a lot better than the first unit that kept going out there all the time. So that would be the one run by Salo. So yeah. Then we take another penalty. And so that's our fourth penalty of the day. And then shortly after that, we take penalty number 5. And now we are going to go down 5-on-3 for 1 minute and 27 seconds. So this is a good test. But the interesting part of this is the forward that we would have out there would either be Zeker and Pager, but they're the two guys with the penalties. So Koivu is the man, and he actually does a pretty good job on the PK. And so it works out to be we kill off the first one. Great job by the Isles there. Kill off the second one. We're now 11 for 11 on the PK in the preseason. So good job there, guys. And then I've got written down here, Schneider, laugh out loud. I mean, what was that? Thank God it's preseason. Oh my, I just chuckled on it. And then just at the end of the period, we get our first 4-on-4 for the game. And so nothing much happens out of that either. So game ends at 1-1. The Islanders have outshot New Jersey 38-13, and we're going to OT now. So OT doesn't last that long. It goes to a second shift, and I think it was Sharangovich scored a well, actually anybody could have let in that one. Those ones over the right shoulder, if they're a perfect shot like that, I normally give to the goaltender because they're down on their knees in the butterfly, and there's not much they can do about it. But if you stand up a little bit longer, that's a pretty easy routine save, if you ask me. So anyway, the Islanders go down 2-1 in overtime. Not too upset about it. We dominated the game. We were, fiddling with lines a little bit, pushing around there, whatnot. I thought overall we looked pretty good. Don't have very many things to say bad about anybody. I do have some good comments to hand out, like Vandersoppel. Wow, I thought he had an excellent game, and I don't normally notice him, but he played really well. And Thomas Hickey, they were paired together. I thought Hickey played a typical Hickey kind of game, so he was pretty good. Pulley and Gustafson were together for a while there, and Pollock had a heck of a game, and he logged a lot of minutes today too for preseason. So I'm kind of thinking Barry might be sending, or this is kind of his way of. It's kind of unusual for an exhibition for a D-man to play that many minutes. It's almost like a tester, if you know what I mean. Like, get ready for the season, Ryan. You and Pelly are going to be logging a lot more minutes this year, and I'm all for that. So unless it starts hampering their defense, which I don't think it will, I'm all about Pulley and Pellick getting some extra minutes. So yeah, I kind of think that was a test by Barry, to be honest with you. All right, so listen to Barry after the game was over. He still didn't sound too happy with Wahlstrom, but he still thinks that, he's just a bit of a slow starter or something, and that he'll get it. I thought overall today, Wally had a better game than he did in his first game. He looked a little more urgent. He had a couple times where he kind of got into the groove again, and then he realized he was getting into the groove, and then he picked it up again. So overall, I thought it was a pretty good game by him. So I'm not going to get down with him. And Barry seemed really happy with Bellows, so that was good. And then I saw Ilya's Sorokin's interview, and wow, like this guy is seriously working hard. Like his English is awesome. It really is for such that amount of time. I mean, he barely used the he barely he barely used any of the interpreter, maybe just for one word this time. Like he was understanding even Andrew Gross's 1 minute questions. And even I have a hard time following Andrew's questions sometime. And then he answers the question around the 50-second mark. And then he says, "What do you think?" But yeah, Ilya even got his. So great job by Ilya there. It sounded great. So let's talk a little bit about lines. I thought Bellows had a great game. Really did. Barzell started out, even though we were dominating the whole time, he had 3 or 4 giveaways in about the first 7 minutes of the game. And I went, whoa, Barzy, what are you doing? But, he was trying to do those mid-season plays and that. But after the 7-minute mark, then he just hit another level, another gear in that. So he was great. Wallstrom, I'm going to take Barry's word on this. If Barry's wasn't overly excited, then neither am I. I still think he was better than last game. So just keep on moving up there, Wally, and that'll do good. So Parise for his first game for 37, man, that guy can skate. He's fast. Didn't have the greatest of games today, but it's not his style game. I fully expect him to be rocking and rolling come regular season. He seems pretty pumped for this season. I really think that Pager and Parise are a match made in heaven. I really do. So both of them playing their first game today too. So there's a little bit of rust there. And as Parise said in his interview, he goes, you can play in the scrimmage games and whatever, but it doesn't matter if you're playing against the scrubs or whatnot, come a real game, even if it's preseason, the tempo's up a tick. And as a player, I know that just takes a while to get into that tempo. But yeah, I thought he looked really good. He had a breakaway, Parise, Zach did. And Pager, he was okay. But once again, it was his first game. Palms played mostly with those two today. And I thought Palms had a fantastic game. Palmieri was all over the place. He was skating, he was shooting. Oh, I was really happy with his game. He looks really happy to be a New York Islander too. I kind of noticed that out there. Already talked a little bit about Timashov. I really wow. There's a spot here for you. I think I don't know. It's going to be really tough. Then we get to Koivalu, his center, and I guess a solid game. But like, is that all we're ever going to get from Koivalu? Is that it? If that's it, then okay. Then he's a guy you bring up to the fourth line when we get an injury on the fourth line, if that's the kind of player he's going to be in my opinion. Michael Delcole on the other side of those two. Michael played a Michael game. And if you're expecting him to stick out, he's just not going to do that. It's almost like his time has gone by for that to happen and whatnot. I think Barry would like to see a little bit more, like, especially in a game like this where it's not a lot of regulars in there, maybe score a goal or something. But he played fine. But I can't help but think he's Bridgeport bound. I really do. And the fourth line, Clutter and Zeker, they weren't up to their normal standard today, but they were going pretty good in the other two games and whatnot. And Ross also went down just a little bit today. Not that the fourth line had a bad game or anything. They just weren't high tempo today. And I guess you can't really expect that. One thing I've noticed about Ross Johnson is every single training camp, when I see Ross come in, I always think to myself, wow, he looks really good. Like this guy he could play a regular shift in the NHL. And then I noticed that around the 10 game mark of the regular season, he seems to come down a bit. And I have a feeling that Ross trains really, really good. And because he's in such great shape when he comes to camp is why he always looks so good at the start of the camps and then kind of levels out as the year goes on. Either way, fantastic replacement for any one of the, on the fourth line. He could take their spot, except for Zeke. He wouldn't be able to take center there, but he could definitely sub in for Clutter or Martin at any time, and I'd have no problem with that. The only problem that I see having, and I don't feel great for Barry with having to make these decisions. I'm telling you, I think Barry is prepared, and I can see it now. This may be the first time ever we really lose some serious people on the waiver wire. I could see it happen. Barry thinks it could be about two people. I think he might be right. I could really see that happening. Anyway, guys, that's the first game reaction I have for you. I'm not. I take the Islander motto. Well, Barry's motto anyway. Don't get too high, don't get too low throughout the season. So, wasn't terribly upset with this game with losing it. I thought our play overall was great. So happy with that. It's almost surreal going into a season that I feel that we're this strong, and it's the first time since 1983 that I felt going into a season that, yeah, we're going to win the cup this year. And I really hope that that's true. We've been through so much, the Islander fan base. It would be awesome to see one more time. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. So the Devils take down the Islanders 2-1 in overtime. Everybody, you take care out there, and peace out.